Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the CCC podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Kalari Gamachek. I will soon be joined by Dwerg and Panther Goddess and hopefully Lefty, who left us hanging last week. He finally was able to join up with us, and then he drops this bombshell on us and leaves us hanging. So I'm hoping we can catch up with Lefty and find out if there's some good news, if there's a newest addition to the CCC family like he told us last week and just left us hanging. There is so much we're going to tackle this week. The topic of the week is going to be racism. We have to discuss this. There's just so much racial fuckery that's going on, and it is the heart of our conversation. We're also going to get on the news of the week, of course, the Mike Flynn stuff, the tax scam bill that got passed. There's just so much. We have a special guest in the beginning of the show. I want people to understand why we're fighting this good fight, and I honestly hope that you'll be entertained. Thanks to everybody who watched last week's cast on YouTube, well, technically listen to, because we don't really do video. This is mostly audio. But thanks for all your feedback. Thank you for weighing in on the poll that I'm going to discuss later on in this cast as well. We're going to get ready to jump right into it. Hey, what is up?
Tell me you can see me and you can hear me.
I can hear you, cannot see you just yet. Can you see me?
Hold on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now I can see
Okay,
you.
can you see me now?
Yes.
Hi.
Hey. It looks like the guys might be coming late to the party.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's alright. We got this. Like I said, it's a topic near and dear to the both of us.
Yeah.
You know.
What are we talking about?
Well, the topic of today's cast is going to be racism, because obviously there are too many people out there calling themselves our allies that don't understand that this is our lives. So I think they need to hear it, especially since our old cast about it is no longer online, unless some people downloaded it back in the day. And I really want them to understand how we can't separate this issue from our lives. This is our lives.
Yes, this is true.
You know, and there's just like so much to get down. This week has been nothing but fuckery, you know?
Yeah.
I mean
I was just thinking back to, what was her name? Belinda?
Yeah.
That tweet she wrote yesterday, to Joy Reid, and telling us, that she didn't think it was about race to her.
Yes.
And I was kind of like, okay, of course, nothing is about race to you because you're white. And I don't say that to be rude. I don't say that to be mean, but you have privileges. You have things that we don't have. So, of course, stuff doesn't look the way that it does to us.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect you to think that it does, but I have a problem with you sitting up here and saying, oh, well, it's not about race, Joy. Yeah, it is. Exactly. She's like the only black anchor on national mainstream media who is out there kicking ass. And coming at her in the way Bernie Bros have been doing her.
Exactly.
And can I just say, I really hate Bernie Bros.
Yep. I'm with you. I'm with you.
I hate them.
Because anybody who don't kiss Bernie's ass seems to be a target, and women of color especially. And I'm sorry, as much as I still support Hillary Clinton, I don't go to other people's pages attacking them. Yep.
No.
They feel the strong need. Anybody who slights their Messiah Sanders to come after us, and you're not helping. It just makes me not trust you, and definitely don't trust Bernie anymore.
Yeah, and you know what? I would just like to say to them, dude, he's not a Democrat.
No.
All these people who were upset about the DNC, all these people who were like, it was rigged against him. No, it wasn't. He was an independent. He never, ever was a Democrat.
Yeah.
No. Why non-Democrat in the Democrat National Committee. Tell me that.
Exactly.
Please explain to me how that goes together. It doesn't. And I understand that they wanted him to win, and I understand that they felt like he was the party revolution. But understand, if y'all want him to be a candidate, if you want to back him, make an independent national committee.
Yes.
Don't come over here and get mad when he does not receive the support of the Democratic National Committee when he's not a Democrat.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to staple that somewhere. Bernie Sanders is not a Democrat.
I said it point blank. It's like me coming into your house. I don't pay your bills. I don't pay jack shit. But because you're nice enough to let me into your house, I decide that you need to decorate everything and do everything I say and run your shit. That's exactly, yes.
That is the perfect analogy right there.
Yeah.
Why would we allow you? I understand, you're talking about, people are talking about inclusion and all this stuff, and I am all for inclusion. However, don't tell me that a system was rigged against somebody. Don't tell me that he was unjustly treated when he's not a Democrat. Like, he got the treatment that he deserved.
Yeah.
I was mad when I found out he was running as a Democrat. Like, that pissed me off.
How are you going to run when you won't even affiliate officially with the party?
And you knock the party any other time, you're knocking the party. You're not up here supporting the party ever. Like, that isn't on his agenda. And I think that that's the thing that people really need to get over. Why people don't see why we're so indifferent to their bitching about the situation. Because he's not a Democrat. And he never ever showed support for the people that he wanted support from.
Yeah.
Why would I give my vote to you if you're not about, I understand your platform. I was all for the platform. But why would I give you my vote when you don't even talk to me?
Yeah.
Like, you don't, anything that you said other than the college tuition and all the other, progressive things, anything else that you say doesn't necessarily register with me because I am a Democrat. I am.
Yeah, and let's face it.
I'm a Democrat, but I'm a Democrat.
He threw out all this stuff about free college, free stuff without a feasible plan to make it happen, without being real about where the money was going to come from. And I felt ashamed because I bought into the Bernie mystique at first, and then I started going 10. You're a numbers person. And a good friend of mine, Dr. Mike Cooper, he's a scientist. I love him. We always frank with each other. And he said, 10, think about it. Think about where this money would come from for all these Bernie ideas. And when he started breaking it down for me, and when I really started investigating Bernie, I was like, oh my God. I almost fell for this rhetoric instead of facts and numbers. And I'm a fact and numbers woman. So it just started really mind-boggling me, this whole Bernie mystique. And then you add the fact that he's touting this white working class myth, ignoring that the American working class comes in every ethnic background. And then you add that he's relegating the fact that we can literally be legalized lynched as identity politics. I'm sorry, I am my identity. I'm not going to shy away from it so that you can take on Wall Street, allegedly. Mr. Buying $600,000 houses up in the lake, your wife under investigation for criminal activity involving money. I'm so sick of people acting like Bernie Sanders' stunts on Coach and his stunts on film makes him what he is. You got to realize that if they're stunts. Follow the money. I follow that money. Sanders makes a mint. He is big banks. He is Wall Street.
I mean, I really hate to break it to you, but most politicians are Wall Street people. I mean, y'all really need to get over this shit. Everybody's like, Wall Street crony. Everybody could be considered a Wall Street crony.
And if you were smart, you would be... And I definitely, there's a topic that I swear we're going to touch down during this cast about Wall Street and about investment and about America in general. Because I think if people have this knowledge, and we have people who've listened to the last cast, so if you're going to stick with us to this cast, I have ideas that I really want to share with our listeners about how to make and save money. Because we have this skewed vision on what wealth is. People think wealth is about showing wealth. Do you realize that most wealthy people don't mess with their own money? A lot of Americans don't realize that. And
I think that was one thing that I learned a while ago. You know, somebody was like, well, I want to be rich. And then I had another friend who was sitting in the same place. And he was like, anybody could be rich. He's like, you want wealth. You want things. And wealth isn't necessarily just about monetary money. It is about also acquiring things. You have to have some kind of collateral in order to actually say you are a wealthy person.
Exactly.
I don't think people realize that.
No.
You know? And then you have culture that messes all these kids up and thinking that, you know, they want to be rich, that having gold chains and stuff like that makes you rich and showing money. No, it doesn't.
No.
Because you're paying that money out. You're not keeping it.
Yes.
Like, I wonder if they're thinking about that. You're giving the money away. You're not keeping
the
it.
items that you're putting that money in, the value, it don't mean anything to people with wealth. That's why I laugh at all those people that show off, like, oh, I got this latest high-tech gadget, which is going to be obsolete in a few months when they upgrade it because they know your dumb ass is going to want that too.
That's true.
And it's like if people would take the money that they buy the latest smartphone with or iPad with and put a solid investment down, they could be making actual wealth and taking that power out of the people who already have the money, who are not letting go of the money. And I have this plan that I really think people should jump on because right now they passed that tax bill. Last night I was stunned listening to the GOP pat themselves on the back for willingly destabilizing our economy. They're thinking that people are stupid enough to go, well, everything's fine right now. Why should we worry? You should worry because there's going to be $1 trillion deficit that's going to be passed on to us, our kids, and their kids. And the fact that people are so short-sighted that they don't care that this is going to fuck up our economy baffles me. And that's why I get mad when people go, well, we need to tackle the system of classism before anything else. No, I'm sorry, because America's not smart enough to tackle classism. So I'm going to fight what I need to fight, which is racism. I mean, for real, I'm not going to kid glove this no more. Y'all ain't smart enough to understand the long term when it comes to money and finance. So why should I put my trust in people who can't even get together to stop a tax scam to when they get it done, put our issues first? No, it don't work like that.
And then on top of that, you know, you think about, you know, like you said, nobody thinks about the long game. Nobody thinks about what's going to happen. Nobody thinks, you know, it's just like with people who vote. Y'all vote, you know, people voted because of their tribal instincts. People voted because they call themselves mad. People, whatever you voted for, I honestly believe that nobody thought about what the implications would be 3, 4, 10 years down the line.
Exactly.
We get presidents for 4 terms, for 4 years, but what they do in those 4 years affects us 30 years down the line. Yeah. I mean, it's just like the last tax. That was what, 30 years ago? We were still dealing with that, and now we have another one. So now, you know, they're talking about it's another generation that's gonna pass that has to deal with this shit. A generation is 40 years.
Yeah.
I want to think about that shit. 14 years of time. There's no telling what's going to happen. And now we have to think about, okay, we got to worry about the right now while we're not thinking about the long term anymore. I'm more concerned, to be honest with you, with the long term. Because I'm starting to see the effects of the older I get now, I'm starting to see the effects of the things that I learned as a child and the generation that I come from and how that affects now and how that's going to affect my kids and, you know, like you said, their kids. Everything that we do, we need to start thinking about the long game. And that even goes towards our community, towards Black people. I feel like there are times when we don't consider the long game.
Nope.
We don't consider how these things are going to affect 15 years down the line. Look, civil rights took a long ass time.
Yep.
A long time. That was the Civil Rights Act 1964 didn't come at 1960. That wasn't just something that they pulled out of their ass. That was a lot of people dying. That was 30, 20 years of work. And we have to be looking at the long game. We have to be thinking about what's going to happen in the next generation. How are we going to stop the shit that's going on now? How are we going to work with so-called allies to make them understand that the shit that you may think is going on really ain't what it is?
Yes.
And what you do, how you treat, how you call yourself an ally, how you react, how you go through what you call your ally work, it matters.
Yes.
Not just don't be an ally for right now. Don't just say I marched with BLM like Belinda last night. That and like I responded to the tweet and I told her, I was like, you marching with BLM means absolutely nothing.
Yes.
If that is all that you think is gonna stop this problem.
Like I said.
Go ahead.
Like I said to her, you march to be seen, not to hear what we had to say, you dummy.
Exactly. Listen. You need to listen. And that's one of the things that we have to get out there. People have to be willing to listen.
Yeah.
Just like, I think the thing that really needs to be said is that, and I'm starting, the more that I talk to outside people, I'm starting to see that there are some white people who want to be allies, but they feel like they can't, like they're not going to be heard. And I want them to know that, for once, you need to stop worrying about whether or not you're heard.
Yeah.
You need to start worrying about whether or not you're listening. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing what I'm telling you? Because when I tell you that, yo, that shit was fucked up. Like, that dude called me a cute nigga. And for you to tell me, no, that couldn't possibly have happened. Yes, it did. And that's just simple. We're talking about systemic racism. We're talking about a white supremacy system that we're all living under. You're not paying attention to me, and you only think that you being out there marching, or you putting the hashtag BLM, or you giving money and all these things like that. That is not what the issue is. The issue is, are you paying attention? Are you hearing me? Because a lot of this needs to change. The mentality of America needs to change about racism. We need to start looking at things like, are we listening to the people who are hurting? Are we listening to them? Are we not just telling them what to do?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's one of the things that really bothers me. There's so many people willing to tell you what to do, but there's not enough people listening to what you want to do.
They tell us how to protest our lives. They tell us when we should speak up. They tell us how we should speak up. They tell us we should be grateful for the things that I'm sorry. Anybody telling an NFL player, a musician, or anybody who makes money off their talents, they should be grateful for their own talents, can kiss my ass.
Hell yeah, because they work hard for their money just like the rest of us.
Yeah.
Like, and I thought about that the other day, and I had this conversation with a friend of mine, and she was like, well, you're standing for athletes. No, I'm not. I'm not standing for no athletes. They get their ass out there every week, and they get hit. They wake up, like, what is it, CTE?
The brain scan.
Yeah, the brain, they end up with brain issues. They have all, like, this shit that they go through, the pain and the hurt that they put their bodies through.
Yeah.
That shit didn't come easily.
They train and they work hard.
Yeah. They didn't get up one day and said, I'm going to be in the NFL, and the shit just happened. That was years, like going back to childhood, playing football, learning, all of those things. You cannot hate on someone who did what they had to do to get where they are. So don't tell them they need to be grateful, because I promise you, half of the people who are telling them they need to be grateful for what they got are the same people who sit on their ass every Sunday and watch the NFL.
Yep.
And pay for NFL online in the NFL channel. Y'all the same motherfuckers who are doing that shit. So shut up.
Exactly.
Shut up.
And speaking of our allies that pissed me off, and I did a poll because I wanted to open it not just to black people, because we get it all the time, but LGBT especially, and people who are religiously discriminated against. how many allies, especially white allies, and if it sounds like we're coming hard on you white people, you just got to deal with it for a bit. Because seriously, y'all have been acting up for a bit. And I asked them, and the poll was at 57% to 33% of they had it, and some are in between, in the middle, that they had these allies who push the need to tell us what to look at for discrimination. And I keep telling people all the time, I used to cancel it out and be like, oh, their heart's in the right place. But stop telling people who are already persecuted to look up documentaries. You ain't got to tell me about the 13th. I've seen the 13th probably more than you. Some people, like my friend Bob Berry said, don't tell me what's the 13th. My life was the 13th. Black people are living documentaries of racism. You don't have to tell us about racism. You're looking at it from a privileged bubble. Okay? You're an outsider viewing it. So, of course, Hollywood making racism palatable for you for like 12 years a slave, you think you're woke after watching that movie. You don't know what it's like to wake up in this country black. And until you understand that experience, don't recommend shit to us. Until you understand what it's like to be gay and have your life in danger, trans, and have people literally threatening you on social media and nobody doing shit about it. If you're Muslim and like that poor 6-year-old whose teacher called the cops on the 6-year-old mentally handicapped child who was Muslim saying that they were terrorists. This is our lives. And you're trying to recommend books? Yeah, I just read about it last night.
What happened?
It's a 6-year-old boy, and I'm not sure if it was in Texas or not. I have to reread the news story. I read it earlier, last night before I went to bed. I was like, it just boggles my mind. The teacher called the police because they were acting out, like kids with disabilities sometimes do, and they accused the child, a 6-year-old, of being a terrorist.
What the fuck?
It's sickening. And this is what so many Americans live with. And you call yourself an ally by recommending books, by, like you said, putting a hashtag or showing up at a rally and not even fucking listening, just being there to be a hashtag activist. This is our lives. They're going after our kids. And you call yourself an ally because you watched the 13th? Get the fuck out of here with that.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I'm sorry, but it just blows my mind. A 6-year-old?
A 6-year-old. And it's the latest in the fuckery. We have the New York Times with their puff piece on that Nazi, which pisses me off because so many people who try to claim they're like intellectually elite, especially these male journalists talking about you didn't get the point. No, we got the point. All right? Anybody who's still trying to pretend like there aren't Nazis and white supremacists in this country after all that went down, they're willfully stupid. I didn't need you to tell me my neighbors next door were Nazis. 53% of white women and 63% of white men voted for Trump. You don't tell me that I don't know that racism is in this country. I've been living that shit for 40 years. What kills me is the people who act like Trump just made this racism magically appear. No, it's been here. He just gave it a platform, and we don't need puff pieces on guys like Tony Horath, who is a Nazi who watches Seinfeld, which is like, what the fuck is that? Do you not even understand how stupid that sounds?
I'm not gonna lie to you, I missed that article altogether. Like, I didn't even read it. I don't even want to talk. Like, I can't comment on it because I didn't read it. So
I had to read it because I wanted to see, because they kept doubling down afterwards about how people just didn't get it. And you got idiots like Josh Barrow saying, oh, the New York Times trying to tell people, they should have known that you can't tell people how to think or something along those lines. And it's like, stop making it about people not thinking about what the piece is about. They're trying to turn it into something it wasn't. You wrote a fluff piece. There was nowhere in that original article that said how dangerous Horath's mindset was. They highlighted how he was just a normal guy who happens to believe that Jews should be exterminated and that black and brown people deserve to die. That's not thought-provoking. It's scary that they think they can push that bullshit and act like they're trying to make people think. How many times do we have to say we don't need to think about white supremacy? It's in our face. It's killing people.
Thank you. I mean, come on, man. Like,
yeah.
Why? we got a president who is retweeting unconfirmed so-called, and I'm saying this very loosely, terrorism.
Yeah.
But, and y'all think that this is a good reality? You think that this is how life is supposed to be? You got people, how can you give a puff piece to a fucking Nazi? Like, that doesn't even go together.
Yeah.
How do you puff up that person? You know, everybody's like, well, you know, you can't give her, we're showing this, we're giving a platform, oh my God.
Yeah.
Sarah Huckabee, what is her name?
Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Whatever the fuck. Woman, I hate you.
Yeah, I can't with her. Because she is just ridiculous with the excuses she gives. Oh, it doesn't matter if he used Britain's first lies. The terrorism is real. And it's like, no, I'm more afraid of a white person right now than any kind of ISIS. Because I'm more likely to get shot by a disabled white person with lax gun laws in this country than I am to be murdered by some Muslim terrorist that's overseas.
Yeah.
And people don't seem to understand that. I don't have no fear of ISIS. ISIS isn't in this country the way they keep trying to push it. Okay? You can't say some dude in a U-Haul truck that did that shit in New York last month is reflective of ISIS. Because if ISIS was here, we'd be more fucked up. Trust me on that.
Very true.
But you're going to ignore the fact that the guy just last month went to Vegas, shot 5. Oh, that terrorism? Come on now.
Yeah, and that was the part that killed me about that, you know, because then they started doing all these pieces about how he was a normal guy and how, you know, nobody knew these things about him. What's fucking normal about somebody who goes and shoots up a damn country?
And they always leave a trail. There's social media, manifestos, and everything else. People just don't want to look for it because it's a double standard. And Free Your Mind Kid had me rolling yesterday because the hypocrisy among white people right now is just appalling. Because of that young lady who died accidentally in California, and the guy got cleared by the justice system that worked for him. But these people are the same people who told us, well, Trayvon should have been in that neighborhood. Or Tamir shouldn't have had a toy gun in his hand. They always justify our deaths and their killers getting acquitted. But God forbid that little white girl gets killed and her killer gets that same process and gets acquitted. All of a sudden, they up in arms.
Well, I mean, didn't she had a heart attack, correct?
I believe that's what happened. And
I mean, how could he? What was he going to do with someone who had a heart attack? I'm sorry. I hope that, you know, that sounds childish.
Like I said,
but
it's hard not to feel like I didn't want to disrespect her memory because I don't know that lady and nobody should die like that. But to act like there isn't a double standard. When even yesterday I had to go at this guy who kept saying, well, Tamir should have complied to the cops. He was waving the gun around and the cop told him to stop. Fucker, there's video of what happened. He got out the car 3 seconds out of the car, shot that child in the back. To lie like that. And white people will lie to themselves and spread that shit on social media and say that Tamir didn't comply. There was no way he could have complied because the guy gave him 3 seconds.
And on top of that, what the fuck is a 12-year-old supposed to comply to?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I mean, that's like, what was he doing? What was he doing?
Yeah.
If you look at the video, when you watch the video, he's literally standing in the shot. I don't recall seeing anybody else in the shot except for him and the police officer.
Yeah.
Who shot him. So what was he doing that was so damn violent? What was he doing that he needed to comply, that he was not complying with his officer? The kid was standing outside. Yeah, maybe he shouldn't have been playing with a toy gun, but hey, they're toys for everybody. I'm pretty sure you bought your kid, everybody else bought their kid a toy gun or a water gun or whatever the fuck at one point in their life. So, for you to sit up there and say that that's the justifiable reason for you to shoot him 3 seconds once you get your ass out of a car, no.
Exactly.
No. Don't even play dumb. And the whole thing about Trayvon Martin, what got me was one person sent me a meme talking about showing some pictures, some webcam pictures of him with his shirt off, or him saying something about being a thug and all that stuff, and making that a justifiable reason for why George Zimmerman got out of his truck after the fucking 911 operator told him to stay his ass in his car and approached this young man, and then got into a fight with him. How can you be mad at somebody for defending themselves? Now, when everybody's talking about the castle doctrine and all that other shit, defending yourself then isn't an issue. But you walk up on a kid, it's the middle of the night, you walk up on him. What exactly did you expect him to do? Sit up there and say, hey, Mr. White Man, don't hit me. Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense
exactly.
at all. It doesn't make sense.
And to get back to the whole thug thing, you know how many white boys did? We got grown-ass white men who used to follow us. Remember the Martin Luther, whatever that guy's name is, that wannabe rap star? We have grown-ass white men trying to glorify being thugs. Bunch of fucking culture vulture white boys who think because they buy rap albums, they can tell rap stars to be their jesters. Stop it. Don't even. They act like young black men are the only ones who identify with thug culture. I've seen more white boys out there trying to be down with the rap culture and the thug culture than I care to even count.
So, let me just say this. So, it's so funny that you bring that up, because this week at work, one of the guys came over to my desk and he sat on my desk and we were talking, and he was like, yeah, he's a white guy. He's like, yeah, I used to be ghetto.
What?
And I turned around and looked at him like, okay, mind you, I'm the only, it's only me and another guy who are black that work within the office. And you come and sit on my desk like I'm your homegirl, and then you tell me, oh yeah, I used to be ghetto. Like, the fuck I look like? You see what I look like.
Yeah.
Do I look? What would make you like white people? Let me tell you something. Let me just give you a PSA. Coming up to a black person and telling them that you used to be ghetto or that you used to live in the hood is not a way to relate.
Nope.
It's not how you relate to me. I understand that you've been given this preconceived notion that is how you come up on a black person to get them to talk to you, but no, that's not how it works. I can't relate to you as far as quote unquote ghetto life is, because I grew up in suburbia.
Yes.
So I don't really know, except for when I went to high school and college. I don't know. I can't say I lived that life. I never perpetrate that I have. I don't know what it is. I don't judge them as those people. They're still my people. I still love them, and I don't care. I have friends who grew up in the hood, and I have friends who still live hood life. I got friends who moved out of the hood and did other things with their life. I don't judge either one of them.
Yeah.
But don't come up on me while I'm at my desk trying to do my work and tell me, yeah, I used to be ghetto, and make that your opening line to relate to me.
I'm telling you.
That's not. And I had to look at him and I was like, okay.
Yeah. It's like my ex. My ex made so many assumptions because he grew up poor and white that I would understand certain things. And when I explained to him, I grew up in New York, on Staten Island, middle class. My family shopped at department stores. I did not know the life that you're talking about. And it was just like, you start to see the wheels turn in his brain. And like I said, I joined that hashtag, fucking ain't freedom, because he really thought going out with a black woman was like his get out of racism free card. And he thought that his ignorance would get a pass because he was dating a black woman, and I had to set him straight. This black woman didn't live your life. No. My family was up in arms about me and him being together because it was like, he's beneath you. And it wasn't because he was white, it's because he was fucking low class. And they called it like that. My family don't mince words about that shit. They was like, he is never going to give you the life that you're used to. Why you with him?
I mean, just like we tell people all the time, look, Black people are not a monolith culture.
No.
You can't walk up on me and say shit like that and think and the look on my face, you see me when I look at people stupid.
Yes.
You know I have a killer face. So
yes.
I know when I turned around and looked at him, he knew he fucked up. Yep. And I told him, I was like, I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like,
how am I supposed to respond to that?
Yeah, like, what do you want me to tell you? Like, you want me to say that I'm late? Well, I can't. I'm not going to sit up here and lie.
Do you want a high five? What?
Yeah, do you want me to be like, yeah, bro, I know what it is. You know what life is. No, like, and, he went on to tell me about how he had what we call down here in Texas, swingers on his car, how he had a Cadillac CTS, he was cool, and he liked the baggy jeans, and he used to hang out like the dude. I don't give a fuck. First of all, let me just start with that. I don't give a fuck. Two, what makes you think that is that's the conversation I want to have at 9 o'clock in the morning? I don't give a shit. I don't. And on top of that, bro, like, just because I'm black don't mean that you can come up on me and we can, like, that's going to make me want to have lunch with you. Like, what did you think was going to happen like that? Is that supposed to make me trust you more? Because you used to be ghetto, you used to quote-unquote be ghetto. What does that even mean?
Exactly.
What does it mean to be ghetto? I know that you could probably live in a ghetto. I don't know what it means to be ghetto.
Trump's ghetto. I can give you the very definition of ghetto. A man who owes $650 million and ducking his creditors, has 5 kids by 3 babies' mamas, don't pay his bills, always hustling. Yeah, Trump's ghetto. So he can go hang out with other Trump supporters because that's ghetto to me. I'm just like, I hate when people do that. You want to relate to me? You would get in with me more if you know geek pop culture references, to be quite honest.
Yeah, like...
Don't come at me about the ghetto. You don't know my socioeconomic standards. Matter of fact, I bet you probably can't even pronounce socioeconomics because you coming at me with ghetto bullshit.
Yes, like that's not the way that we're gonna relate. If you want to be an ally or you want to be down or whatever the fuck you want to call it, coming at black people and saying, yeah, I used to be good is not the way to make us trust you.
And don't tell us as your friends to make yourself look like you're an ally. If you're an ally, you can have all white friends and realize shit is fucked up. You don't have to add people of color to your friendship pool just to say that you understand the issue. Just understanding the issue is good enough for me. We ain't gotta be friends.
Like, we don't. Exactly. I don't need you to shake my hand. I don't need you to pat me on my back. And I don't need you to tell me you get it. Show me that you get it.
Yes.
I don't need to have to say, okay, well, yeah, that sounds good. Because talk is cheap. You can tell me anything with your mouth. Like we used to say, your mouth say anything you want to. It's what you do. Yep. Show me what your work is. Show me your work. Show me, prove to me that this is really what you mean. Because you can tell me anything. 9 times out of 10, you telling me this shit and you going back to your white friends and you having a conversation about how I'm a nigga.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
exactly.
You telling me that doesn't do anything.
Yes.
At all.
And I'm sorry, I feel betrayed by white people because they act like they hear us. The ones that call themselves allies. But yet we still have it where a sheriff, did you see that link I posted about that sheriff that said Philando Castile's girlfriend is going to waste her settlement on crack cocaine in 6 months? That people can say shit like this in society and get away with it and feel like they can be bold about it is what I feel needs to be combated. You come at me talking about, oh, Tim, don't say that you're at your white people tolerance. Why aren't you going after people like that instead? I'm at my white people tolerance because you have given me too much bullshit to put up with. Your votes have shown my life don't matter. The way you dismiss the deaths of even our children have shown that my life don't matter to you. The way you automatically assume because of my skin color that I'm in the negative, that I don't understand, that I'm not educated, has proved that my life don't matter. Yes, I am at my white people tolerance. And if that upsets you, oh well. Reflect on yourself, people.
Yeah, I mean, because, you know, and it really, honestly, I just want to make it, you know, every culture, because I have seen, yeah, I live in Texas, so it is predominantly Hispanic here, and I've seen the same white guy walk up to a Mexican dude at work and ask him about Coronas and cerveza, like that shit is not how you relate to people of color.
No.
Telling me about what you think a stereotypical person in my culture or in my ethnic group is, that doesn't make me, that you don't relate. You don't do that. Like, I'm really tired of that shit.
Yes.
I've seen people do it to every ethnic background. I've seen people say, "Oh, I do stupid shit." And can I just say that I don't necessarily agree with the term Muslim American, because being Muslim is a religion.
Yeah.
So how does that make you? I know that was a random thought, but it just occurred.
No, but it's real. It's like when people say Jewish like it's a race, and I'm like, you do realize that anybody can be Jewish. I have Jewish family members. It's not a race. It's a religion. It's a spiritual choice.
Yeah.
And anybody can be Muslim. That's why I'm like, just say you hate brown people, because brown Muslims scare you. There are plenty of white and Asian and Hispanic, even Hispanic Muslims. So why are you acting like this is a race?
Yeah, and then and it's kind of like the thing, with black people, like they had to take on that moniker because that seems to be the only way that they will recognize them as a group of people here in America.
We got told we're 3/5 human. So we wear African American with pride, because that's the only pride we can have. You took our history from us. You took our culture from us. You dragged us over here. You raped us. And in our case, we have it double because we have native blood in us. So we have two cultures that were robbed and desecrated. And I take the moniker of African American. Just like the natives take the culture of Native American, because that's all you've left us with.
That's true. That's so true.
And people are always trying to say, well, why are you allowed to have that pride? Well, let's see. We were told that we were savages for our faith belief. We were told we were savages for the way we tribed up. Y'all broke all of that. You were taking our kids, giving them Christian names for the native side. You were taking our kids, freaking putting your white DNA into them for the black side, and then still telling them that they weren't people. All we have is that title.
Yeah.
And I wish people would get that. I wish, if you're listening to us speak on this cast, did you understand that when we say black and native pride, it is because we have been robbed of so much of what made us us. The essence, our spirituality, our cultural and our traditions were taken and watered down by slavery and genocide. That this is what we have. And until society steps up and stops making us the savages and stop making us the bad guys and stop assuming that we can't rise to intellectual levels, I'm going to say proudly that I'm an African American. I'm going to tout my Native American heritage, because that's all y'all give me to tell.
Yeah, that's true. Now, can we talk about Donald Trump and...
Oh my God, yes. He is just so ridiculous. The Navajo code talkers. That was for me the lowest, most embarrassing point of his presidency. And he's had some pretty fucked up points. But to have these men who single-handedly helped us win World War II, whose very tradition was the reason why we were able to overcome the Nazis, which was the most dangerous force to be reckoned with back in the day. To disrespect them on that level hurt my heart. It did.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing about it was, you could tell that they were offended by that. And I think that that's the thing that gets me the most. Like, I understand that y'all want to, that we realize that y'all, talk about us behind your back because, we talk about y'all too. Like,
yes.
that shit, it's not exclusive to white people. Everybody does it. We all have issues with y'all when we are with people who we are like. But if you wanted to, if you want to, I'm not saying that, let me just say this, I'm not condoning it, I'm not saying that it's okay, but we have to realize that this shit happens.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to sit up here, I'm not going to pretend and fuck around and say that shit doesn't happen. But for you to stand up there with these men in their military garb being honored, and you pull out some bullshit like Pocahontas, like, what the fuck? Like, why? Why would you even go there? If you want to talk about them, at least do that shit away from the public eye. But then again, Trump has made being an asshole a cool thing.
Yep, so, maybe a racist one too. And the whole people like, oh, Pocahontas is not a big deal. It is a big deal. When you use somebody's ethnicity to mock, that's a slur. And Native people have taken enough disrespect. Native people go through just as much bullshit as black people do, if not worse so, with the police killing them, with the disrespect for their land and their culture. And you're going to tell me that they don't have the right to be upset over the freaking president of the United States using Pocahontas, a historical figure who was the poster child of being raped by colonialism, as a slur. And the whole that Elizabeth Warren lied, how the hell do you know that she lied? There are plenty of white people who don't know their DNA ancestry, who don't realize how many Native American women were raped and had these white children with ancestry that has Native ties. So Donald Trump is not only an idiot, he doesn't understand basic genetics.
And that's the one thing that everybody has to realize. We are all mixed together. Yes. There's a little bit of everything in all of us.
Exactly.
It's just the truth. It is. And then especially when you're American, it's a whole bunch of shit over here. Like, it's every little thing. Like, the reason I like watching Finding Your Roots on PBS is because now they're doing the genetic test. And you can go and you can see where you're from. And I feel like it's amazing because there are so many things, not just being African, but you have European culture, you have Middle Eastern culture, all these people, and they don't necessarily look like that. They don't look black. They don't look like they're from the Middle East. They don't look like these things, but it's in them. Yeah. So when you say shit like that, you disrespect a piece of them. And so I feel like everyone should be offended by that. Everyone should have looked at that shit and been like, dude, what the fuck? Like, because it was unnecessary and to everyone's culture. And I don't care if you say that shit is PC. It's not about being PC. It's about respecting the fact that we are all different people. It's about being including everything, honoring every part of yourself. Yeah. Because I'm willing to bet that Donald Trump's old ugly ass has Native American in him from somewhere. Yeah. So, fuck you.
Yeah, I'm for real.
That was wrong.
And then having them stand in front of Andrew Jackson's photo, like, anybody with a brain understands Andrew Jackson was the most anti-Native American president ever. The Trail of Tears happened under him. He was known for slaughtering.
Remember, Trump said that Andrew Jackson was his favorite president.
Yes.
You have to remember that shit.
We got a commander-in-chief, a straight-up commander-in-chief in office. And people don't seem to get that. Anybody at this point who's still trying to say that Trump isn't racist, that his support isn't based on racism, can get the fuck out of my face. Because
he's proved it. He's
proved it every time he opens his mouth. You can't just say that it's ignorance anymore. He knows what he's doing. He doesn't dog whistle.
And like I was telling you the other day, everybody's like, well, he has dementia, and I can't buy into that.
Stop excusing it.
I need some more proof. than to buy in the fact
and dementia doesn't matter because, like I said, my family is as multicultural as they come, and we still have our races.
Yeah.
I told Zerg the other day that, and I just told you early in this show how my family was straight up about the fact that I date outside the race, and they'll say right to my guy's face, she couldn't have found a brother.
Yeah.
And they're point blank about it. My immediate family, especially, they don't feel comfortable with the fact, especially in today's climate with our relationship, because of the fact. And even though we were friends for 12 years, and even though he has proven himself to care about me and my son, they still worry that in this climate, our relationship is going to be judged negatively because a lot of these guys use their relationship. I was reading this awesome tweet the other day for this Asian lady who said, you need to stop giving these racists who date and marry Asian women a pass. You need to find out what the Asian woman's background was. Was she trying to get herself some citizenship? And even then, stop acting like we automatically co-sign on their racism. All right? Because racism doesn't just leave because of who you date. I know I've said some racist shit against white people. They've given me reason. But I own up to it. I try to do better. Like I said last week, I try not to parrot the things I heard about white people growing up. But they got to realize it comes from a place where my grandfathers, despite fighting in wars for this country, despite being businessmen and doing right by this country, was still told where they could sit on the bus. Was still told what fountain they could sit in. Was still told that they were less than. So that's gonna breed some contempt.
It is. It will piss you off.
Yeah.
Every now and then, you have to.
And that's.
I want to be honest about this shit because I feel like, when we're honest about our feelings and not just our feelings towards, how we're treated, but even how we treat. There are times when I have to catch myself, where I honestly have to be like, you know what, Megan, that may not have been the best thing to think. I really do. I try my best not to let everything that comes to my mouth, that comes to my head, come out my mouth. A lot of people should really work on that too.
Yeah.
But, we're all guilty of it. We're all guilty of looking at shit and being like, dude, come on, man. We're used to it, but then it's bad. It's also a bad thing because it's kind of like ingrained in us, even as people. And I guess that kind of relates back to the tribalism idea that we have going on, especially right now. But even still, you gotta think about that shit. Think about what you do and how it affects someone else.
Yes,
you
empathy.
May be thinking that shit. Yes, you have to think about that. I try to remember that when I do have those thoughts, and when I do hear even people in my family say fucked up shit. I have to tell them like, dude, chill. Honestly, chill, because I realize they feel a certain way about certain people. But a lot of that shit is unnecessary. And we all have to be honest with that. Black people, when people start being honest about their racism, which is something that I always say on Twitter, I appreciate honest voices. Because I feel like if you are honest about your racism, then I already know who you are.
Yeah.
I don't have to shuck and jive with you. I don't have to play with you. And you don't have to keep that shit undercover. If you want to be a racist, fine. I'm not saying I'm cool with it. I'm not saying that it's okay. But if that's what you want to do and that's who you want to be, fine. Own up to that shit and be it. But understand that not everybody lives like that. And understand that some of us actually care about what we say and how we treat people.
Exactly.
And the things that come out of our mouth. And not just that, but the people that we're around. We want to make sure that our families know, dude, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. But that shit is not okay. Understand that. I've always been that kind of person. I honestly believe I can't stop you from doing anything. I can't stop another adult from being an adult. I can't stop you from the way you think. But I can at least tell you that shit is not okay.
Yeah.
And I will, and even though I don't like what you have to say, I don't like how you feel, I'm still not gonna sit up there and always be like, well, everybody is like that. People are just like that. I'm not gonna generalize. I'm not gonna make that okay.
Yeah.
It can't be okay. It cannot be okay.
It's just
fine.
like,
you want to be a racist, be a racist, but just know that shit is not okay.
Yeah, it's just like our community with homosexuality and transgenderism. You can't tell me that black people don't have some deep-seated hate for that. And I've had to fight with family members. I had to fight with my partner over this. It's like, look, you don't have to understand their life to just be empathetic and understand that you don't get it. Fine, don't get it. Don't rationalize it in your brain if you can't rationalize it. But don't choose to hate somebody because you don't get their lifestyle. And I tell that all the time to people who come at me with it. I understand what it's like to be hated just for being me. That's why I choose to consciously not do that to somebody who is brave enough to say, hey, this is the gender I identify with. Or, hey, this is who I choose to love as a grown adult. It pisses me off when people are like, oh, well, then why can't you understand more? Because preying on children is a hell of a lot different than two loving adults entering a relationship. And it's none of my fucking business. I don't want people in my business what goes on in my bedroom. So I'm not going to think about what goes on in theirs.
And who am I to judge you? Because I'm pretty sure there's shit about me that people don't understand. And I'm pretty sure there's shit about me that may be considered out of the norm. But you know what? There is no such thing as norm.
Yes.
We want to place normalcy on people, and we want people to be just the way we are. I mean, that's the other thing I have against evangelical Christians. You want me to be like you because you can't deal with me being something other than what I am.
Yes.
I don't have time for that. And you can't ask transgender people if that is how they feel within themselves, if that is the life that they want to live, let them live it.
Yes.
As long as they're not doing anything to you, as long as they're not preying on you, allow them to be who they are because you're being who you want to be.
Yeah.
You want to be a racist? You want to be a misogynist? You want to be a sexist? You want to be all that shit? You're being who you want to be, so why are you stopping them from living their lives?
In my mind, and people might want to fight me on this, but there are two groups on this earth right now that are the most disrespected. And I say transgender and black women. Because we are constantly treated bad from all sides. And I had to explain this in a private chat to a friend because I don't think white women understand this at all. Yes, women in general are targeted for misogyny, for bullshit and fuckery. But black women have that added burden of being disrespected by men of our own communities. We have that disrespect by people who doubt our worth and our gender. We have people who tell us that our standard of beauty isn't good enough. And then when you look at transgender women who take the step to call themselves women, and they are women. You are who you identify with, in my mind.
Me too.
To just be disrespected as if they don't know themselves. That's why I stand firm as a transgender ally. Because I understand what it's like to have society tell me I don't know how to be me.
That's honestly how I feel too. I feel like, I'm not going to tell anyone else to be who they are.
Yes.
I want you to be who you are.
Yes.
And I want you to be proud of that. Own that.
Yes.
Own who you are. That's the one thing that I tell anybody who comes to me with any kind of self-esteem issues. I don't care if you man, woman, purple, brown, orange, you. Anyway, but I don't care what color you, I don't care who you are, I don't care what you identify with. Own who you are as a person. Be okay with that shit. Because there are going to be plenty of people who tell you it's not okay.
Yeah.
There are going to be plenty of people who tell you that you are not supposed to be what you are. But their fucking opinion of who you are does not matter at the end of the day.
Yes.
And I say that every trans woman, every trans man, anyone who is out there who's listening, who is still confused, who does not understand right now, own it.
Yes.
Whatever it is, own it. Be proud of it. Be who you are. Don't hide from it. Don't run from it. And when people try to make you run from it, that's when you run through them.
Because
tell them no.
Only way to get society to start really accepting it is to be who you are. because people are still trying to know. Because there's been a push to elevate black women. You can't ignore it. Common wrote on his Twitter about how Times Person of the Year should be black women. It didn't take but a hot minute for some bot guy, and I'm assuming they're white, to go all women, because they can't stand to see us elevated. They can't stand that we are represented, the educated. They can't stand to see that consistently we've tried to vote for the good of all this country. You know?
Yeah. And that is one thing that I want people to recognize. Look, we are the base. Black women are the base of the Democratic Party.
Yes.
We, honestly, all throughout history, black women have been touting the truth for everybody. We want everybody to stand up. I don't hate you for being white. I don't hate you for being from the middle. I don't hate you for being a woman. What I hate is when you tell me that what I am is not okay.
Yes.
That is the problem.
Stop.
And when you have black women who are out here standing up for the good, I've always said this, man, when black people win, everybody wins.
Yes.
We do.
We're historically nurturers. Why do you think white women on the plantation had us taking care of their kids?
Yeah.
We are historically prone towards education and putting other people first, yet we still get that disrespect, and I don't understand that. So yes, I get happy when I see people say vote like a black woman, listen to black women, because we've been consistent with our shit on this. And yeah, we have sisters that I wouldn't hang out with because just like some dumb white girls, they tend to be flashing no substance. But the majority of us, we care when we vote. And that's why I get mad when people say it's okay to be white. Nobody said that it wasn't okay to be white. You keep telling me that if my hair is kinky instead of straight, that it's not beautiful. You keep telling me that a positive beauty image is some white girl instead of a black girl. You tell us in our dolls, you tell us in our entertainment, you tell us in the women that you allow to be media personalities what the standard is to be black in America.
Yeah.
And to have that reinforced to us, and then you double down on how we can't be elevated when we consistently try to stand up for human rights, not just civil rights, human rights, is a burn that I just can't deal with no more.
Yeah, I feel you that same way, because the way I look at it, I want everybody to win.
Yes.
I want to see everybody win. I don't care, like I said, I don't care what color you are. I want you to win. I want you to be the best person.
Everybody deserves a place at the table in my mindset.
They do.
But
everybody,
if you want,
everybody should be taken seriously as well.
And they try to make it about, you just want to replace us. No, how about I want to work with you because humans should have more advancement. We've already proved historically that when we let our minds work, we can develop new ideas, new technology, and everything else. I shudder to imagine what we could have accomplished if we weren't fighting each other over differences.
Yeah, if we were out there more worried about the betterment of society instead of separating society the way we do. And I know people probably hear this and gonna say, well, you two black women, y'all hate white women. No, it's not that. But look, y'all need to understand that this is the reality.
Yeah.
It is. You can't be mad at me for talking about reality. I understand that you don't like it, but it is. And I can only speak from my perspective. I can only say the way I feel. So if you don't fucking like it, then talk from your perspective. But anyway, because I feel like sometimes people will listen to us and be like, well, y'all just hate on white people and all this shit. No. It is not that. I love white people. I said before, I love white people.
I'm ambivalent right now. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm a bit ambivalent because of all the bullshit they keep pulling at us.
When I say that because I love all people.
Yes.
I don't care what you are. I don't care what color you are.
I love humanity, but I don't like humanity's ways. And I had to come to that reality recently because it's like I've been getting depressed behind this because I try so hard to bridge that gap on social media and in my personal life to be inclusive. But people just say fucked up shit to me and expect me to take it because I'm a good person in their mind. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just as fucked up as everybody else. I just admit my flaws. And I don't understand why it's so good to people that I'm willing to admit my flaws. I want to learn.
Yeah. I want to be better. I want to ask questions. I want to know. I want your perspective on shit because it opens my eyes to other things. That's one of the reasons that I love our group. Yeah. Because we're a different mix of people from all different backgrounds. And when I have, like, I know I've said it before, but I just want to keep pressing that. There's nothing wrong with asking questions and learning. I appreciate somebody who will ask me a question.
Don't apologize for questions. Don't apologize for not knowing. Just ask. The fact that you want to learn is more impressive to me than anything else. And it makes me feel like you think I'm going to jump your shit for asking me a question. And it's like, no. I'll jump your shit if you say something stupid like that lady who says don't make it about race when I can't shut it off. But
I really can't.
I don't get mad at people who have genuine questions. And it makes me feel like y'all feed into the black savage mentality when you come at me like that. And when you come at Panther like that. You make us feel like we're going to jump your shit without even knowing us.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm going to get in your shit because you come at me like I'm stupid. But, you know, but when you're honest with me, when you tell me, look, I don't get it. Like, E always comes to us and she's always, look, I don't understand this. Can you explain this to me? I don't get it. And you know what? It's easy to tell her, look, this is what it is. No, I don't necessarily think you should say that anymore, but I understand where you're coming from. You didn't know. Shit, she's white. I asked her shit about white people. I'm like, can you explain this shit to me? Because, look, I don't get it. I don't understand how y'all think this way, so tell me what it is so that I understand where you're coming from. And, I mean, that's how it should be. We should be able to talk about these things. And you should be able to hear me when I tell you that I'm mad at you or when I tell you that what happened in the past, it still hurts because it still affects us today. All the people who say that history don't matter is bullshit because those lines of thinking are what have us here today. And that's what's separating us. That's what's keeping us apart from each other. We have not let go of that shit.
I want to
give. It's hard to let go when you don't acknowledge it.
Exactly. I want to give a basic historical breakdown for people who don't understand why we have BLM right now. We started out as slaves, taken from our land, forced to work for the infrastructure of this country. Our blood, sweat, and tears of our ancestors went into the building of this country, and they were told they were not people. Then we got together with allies, true allies that were willing to give their lives for us to get recognized as 3/5 people. Not even full people, 3/5 people. We were given the right to vote, but that came with stipulations. We were freed as slaves, but that was given stipulation. They developed a whole prison system to make sure that they could still keep some form of slavery and bondage on our people and keep us separate. Okay? Splitting up black families still continues to this day. Y'all replaced Jim Crow and actual lynching, which people had postcards of former lynching that used to be very celebrated in this country for legalized lynching. They have not convicted a cop to this day. A cop can perjure himself on the stand in a unarmed black person's murder and get off.
Yeah.
So don't tell me that historically we don't have the receipts to where we need to keep fighting for our lives to matter. Because every time we get an inch of freedom, y'all find a way to twist it to where we don't have true freedom.
I guess another thing, I know I've been talking about shit still not being funded, but have they reinstated the Voting Rights Act, you know?
They're working on, but it's still, like I said, the gerrymandering we got to get around. North Carolina is ridiculous with it. They have twisted so many counties around here to make sure they stay red. It's ridiculous. And people are not paying attention to that. And they don't understand that this is going to affect the 2018 midterm election. If you don't know who represents your district, what your district is, we're going to be fucked. I know my district representative. I just got a letter from David Price. We were corresponding about this tax scam. because I want to know who my voice in DC is. And he hit me up with even more stuff about that tax plan. How it's definitely going to directly affect 700,000 native North Carolinians right off the bat with the tax issues. But people don't talk. They don't think they can talk, and that's the problem with America in general. The shit that you think you can't do, that's simple. You can talk to your representatives. You voted for them. They work for you.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing we need to remind them that that's what the hell they do. Yes. They work for us. I think this tax situation, this whole election, I think the past year has shown us this has really shown us what not getting your ass up and voting, and what not paying attention to the issues, and what being so fucking stuck in your Bernie or your racism fucking attitude, what it gets you.
Yeah.
Because now look at the clusterfuck that we have going on right now. And this is what not voting, this is what not taking control of your vote does.
Yep.
You have to be in control of that shit.
And the whole,
because that is the only way to be heard.
Exactly.
It's the only way to be
heard. And the whole I didn't know, that line makes me mad. Like last night, Greg said, because another Hollywood executive that worked on like The Flash and WB shows that we watch was outed as a sexual predator. And he's like, I just didn't know. You didn't want to know, hun. Yeah. And I know he gets upset with me when I say that, but it's true. So many people live their lives in this bubble that they don't want to see the evil. But women have been saying this for a very long time, that there are creepy ass people that hold our future in their hands.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times when I worked corporate, I was made uncomfortable, not just racially, but as a woman, because they expect us to put up with that shit.
Look, I was told in my first job, my first corporate job, I was told that I was hired because I was pretty.
Yep.
I was told that by a white man. He told me that I was I don't recall a situation. This is just like, this is a while ago, but I will never forget the feeling that I felt when he walked away. Because I was like, here I am thinking that, all right, I've come out, I'm doing a good job, I'm working hard, paying bills, blah, 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 whatever, contributing to America, whatever. And then to have a man walk up on me and tell me the only reason I have a job is because I'm pretty? Like, how degrading is that?
Exactly. My first employer had to remind me that I was black. He was like, I had to check your references because you have really great references for your kind. I was like, my kind? Even the lady, because I had this woman that had my back throughout high school, throughout university, Miss Catherine Vento. She wrote a lot of books on computer science stuff, and she got me into big business. When I decided that I wasn't going to pursue history because, well-minded people told me history field wasn't for black people, and I listened to that. I went into business, and she was a mentor. And even she said, after she got off the phone with my former employer, why would you work for somebody like that? They just do not have any sense or respect for you. But the money was good. And I was young, and I wanted to make that money. So I put up with that fuckery. But it still hurt.
That shit and stashed it away in my fuck you file.
Yeah.
But, like that happened to me. I've always had you don't look like what you sound like on the phone.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck do I sound like?
Yeah.
Oh, I know what I sound like. I sound white.
Yep.
I sound like I have an education. And you didn't expect this brown face to show up in your office.
Exactly.
But yeah, bitch. I have education. Yeah, I'm educated.
And I really wish people would stop trying to define what being a black person is, period. I'm a black woman that likes geek culture. I'm a black woman that listens to all types of music, including alternative, rock, J-pop, and all the rest of that stuff. You cannot define my blackness. I tell people all the time, stop coming at me like your sister girl if you think you know me, because I am not your Negro. You do not define who I am as a person. And I think because you and I work with that kind of confidence, that's what attracts people to us. But they don't understand this is not an act. This is who we are.
And to understand that shit is hard. I mean, like I said, when I was told that, you know, I don't look like what I sound like on the phone.
Yeah.
Like that hit me. And you want to know what was so cooked up? I got the job.
Yeah.
Of course I got the job. I was qualified. I was actually more than qualified for that job. But
yeah.
I went in there with the feeling of, all right, I got to prove that my blackness is not the only thing that got me here. Like,
yes.
I got to prove that I'm not here to meet your quota. Because that's what that shit feels like.
Yes.
That's honestly what it feels like. You go into a situation with the idea, all right, I got to make you believe, I got to make you understand that I am not what you thought I am.
Yeah.
Just like old dude coming at me with, I used to be ghetto. I had to make him understand by the simple look on my face. Say, bruh, I don't even roll with you like that. Like, you have to make people believe you. That
exactly.
shouldn't be the case. That should not be how it goes. Because I remember when I got that job, there was a white girl who came in on the same day, and she knew she had the fucking job. She knew she had it. She came out of there. She came out of there with the confidence of, like, I know I got this job. She said that shit in front of all of us. And the first thing that happened to me when I walked into that office, I was right behind her. The goddamn man looked at me and was like, oh, that's you? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, you just let somebody else walk out here. You gave her all the confidence in the world. But the first thing you say when you see me is, oh, I didn't think you would. Like, how does that shit shape you mentally? Like, that is the shit that shapes you. And it's just like women who are sexually harassed and abused. That shit shapes you.
Yeah.
It makes you into a certain person. It makes you feel these things. So, yeah, I completely understand why some of these women have taken so long to speak out, why it's taken them so much time and so much effort to speak about this shit, to speak about the racism that they deal with in Hollywood, in any freaking industry, to deal with the sexual harassment, how much it takes. It's hard being a woman. It's hard as hell.
And then you've got this narrative, like I flipped out, and I wrote about it on Daily Cost about this whole feminism myth. You know, they push this bullshit, like feminism is just some title they can give out. And the whole Golden Globe Seth Meyers thing, he's the feminist that we need. And it's like, are you kidding me? And I said it straight up in my interview. Feminism is for both genders. It has to be. Because we need to teach our sons that it's okay to be sensitive. It's okay to have feelings. It's okay to respect women and women to respect you as a man. That's what feminism has always been for me. But in this climate, when you've got the Harvey Weinsteins, when you've got the Kevin Spaceys, when you've got potentially Al Franken, because I'm kind of on the borderline with that. When you've got all these women coming forward saying, me too, to say that the feminist, the Golden Globes needs is a man, pissed me off. And if you're gonna...
You remember the tweet I wrote? I was like, it seems like they forgot this is still patriarchy going on.
Yes.
Like, for you to tell me that the feminist that you need is another dude, I mean, that kind of defeats the whole purpose right there.
And my thing is, if you just wanted to say the Golden Globes are boring, which I've always thought they were, and you need to spice it up so Seth Meyers will be the funny mother effer to take over, I could co-sign. But if you're trying to push progressive, which Hollywood gets progression wrong so much, you could have put Chaz Bono. You could have put any transgender Hollywood star who still does not get a fair shake or reflection. If you're going to try to push for real progressive and shake up Hollywood and talk about feminism and proism, and I say it's fake because you push people like Lena Dunham. And can we just talk about her for a minute? Because I am so sick of these fake-ass Hollywood women who try to take our mantle of feminism and run with it to sell their shit when they show that they are the most anti-feminism. They benefit from the patriarchy, so they're not really willing to fight it.
That's true. That's so
And
true.
Lena Dunham to come out against a woman that she worked with who was brave enough to say, yes, I was raped, just shows that she never earned that feminism title in the first place. So stop putting these women on pedestals just because they're famous. Give me receipts.
Look, I went and Googled her because I remember you telling me something about it. I remember we had a conversation about it.
Yeah.
And I remember you telling me, go Google her name and just see all of the fucked up shit that comes up.
Yep.
And literally, the very first page of Google was literally, I promise you, all articles with headlines of like, Lena Dunham fucked up this, she fucked up that, she said this, she said that, she did this, she did that. And I was just like, all right, now I understand that, you know, people fuck up, they say things that they not necessarily should say in public, or, you know, or something that they should have just not said at all. But for the entire first page to come up with fuckery that you've done, not one good thing came up about her. Not one charity work, not anything about nothing. Exactly. And you can typically find that stuff on the first page of people when you Google people. You can typically find that. But for the litany of negative things that came up about her, things that she has said, things that are documented. Let me put it like that, because you can hearsay all you want.
She wrote a book about her fuckery.
Exactly. There are documented instances of this woman coming out and saying shit that just boggles my mind. And for her to be, quote unquote, one of the leading members of the feminist movement, that shit pisses me off.
She didn't earn that shit, so no.
No, she didn't earn it at all. Matter of fact, like, she needs to be stripped of that shit today.
Yeah.
I'm stripping you of your feminist title. I don't care what the fuck how you want to feel about it.
Yeah.
I'm stripping you of that shit, because the shit that you are doing, all of the things that you are saying and you're putting out there in the atmosphere, it's not helpful at all.
And like I said, some people are like, well, her background. Everybody has a background. Like I said, there are times I've caught myself saying stuff that, because I grew up the way I grew up, that sounds a bit elitist. Because that's how I grew up. And I'll catch myself, you're like, you know what, that sounded stupid, Tim. You know, you didn't even sound like you were trying to relate when it comes to certain things. Do better. Her problem is she don't want to do better. She wants the title of feminism without doing the work for feminism. Yeah. And that's why I say fuck her. And that's why I get mad at people who like dog Hillary, talking about, oh, she's rich, she's that. But she still fought and still continues to fight for feminism and issues that affect everybody. You can be wealthy and have a conscience. You have to choose that shit.
Yeah, you do. And the thing that I always tell people, because they're like, oh, well, you know, she's a corporate, she's corporate, a corporate crony and all that shit. And you know what? It's America, people. Capitalism reigns. I don't care what you do in this country. There's always going to be somebody who is about the dollar. Yeah. You cannot be mad at people who try to make a dollar. Like I said, I don't begrudge anybody their hustle. I don't. Because you got to get it how you live it. Now, there's some shit that she has done. I will not say that I support everything that she's done. But her work shows.
Yeah.
She started out, the woman went undercover in the Arkansas school system to make it better. She went undercover. The damn governor's wife went undercover to figure out what could we do to make this school system better. And y'all want to tell me she's not for kids? She's the one who started CHIP. But you want to say that she's a kid, the child molester and all this shit, when you have actual child molesters who are out here about to be in fucking public elected office, but you have a woman who set up the only way that most kids, especially children who are underprivileged, are able to get their health care.
And with disabilities.
She's the woman that you want to dog. Really?
Exactly.
She's the one who saved your kids. She's the one who helped your kids out in Arkansas. She's the one who stood up for women's rights.
Only politician who had a platform for autism families, which you know affects my family. And it broke my heart that people tried to say she didn't tout her policies, because she was constantly touting her policy. They were just too busy showing violent Trump rallies instead. And her website had it. Yes.
Talking about that's all they were worried about. But like I said, I mean, her time shows work. What she did for the 9/11 first responders.
Yeah.
There's a litany of things that this woman has done that has been for the betterment of our society.
Yeah.
And no, she is not perfect. Yeah. And I don't give a fuck if you say I'm standing for her right now or not.
Exactly.
But the point is that when the push comes to shove, what she's done, her list of accomplishments is a lot longer than a lot of you motherfuckers who are out there running.
Exactly.
A lot of them. And a lot of the people out there, she has done 10 times more work than they have ever done.
And I want to add this. She even said, and no other politician has said that, even this fucking Cheeto Caligula that we have talking about, I'm only for the people who treat me well. Hillary stood up and said, I'm going to be the president even for the people who don't vote for me. Even for the people who hate me. How many other politicians say that?
That's true. I mean, because Trump sticks to his base. I have never seen a more rabid, more
just hateful, just
downright fucking crazy. Fuck hateful, just crazy. Like, they are crazy.
Yeah, they equate him to like the second coming, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yes, and nothing he has done in his life has shown that he cares about anybody but himself.
Yeah.
Nothing that he's done. Because the things, and I would say this, the things that he has done has been for publicity. Yep. And they haven't lasted long. Nothing that he's done has lasted, has given a legacy of someone who works for the people.
Yep.
Who gives a shit. Who makes money. And who completely and totally makes money, who maybe lives off Wall Street or whatever. But nothing he's done shows that he cares.
No.
Matter of fact, everything that he has done shows me how little he cares about people.
Exactly.
How little he gives a fuck about the so-called everyday man.
Yeah.
Or, like they said, the silent majority, which, by the way, is not a fucking majority, just so y'all know.
Yeah.
But anyway, for all these silent majority people and all this shit, he don't give a fuck about you.
No.
And shit in his life, nothing that he has done will tell you that, you know what, he's a thoughtful person.
Nope.
He's a guy who thinks beyond himself.
Exactly.
That man is only in this shit for himself.
He's a bomb. It's like I tweeted out this morning. Everybody's like, well, he was on TV. All his show was him being a bully. Trump's whole legacy is bullying people, putting his name on shit he doesn't even really own, bankruptcy, and just being selfish. And it comes back to what people think is wealth versus what real wealth is. If Trump was really wealthy people might not always be completely generous, but they try to leave a little bit of a legacy of philanthropy. Just so they could say, hey, I've given to this cause. I've done this. Trump's own foundation had to be shut down because they were taking money from kids with cancer and using it to enrich themselves. Because they live the look of wealth. They don't actually live like actual wealthy people. Bloomberg said there's a reason why other billionaires don't take Trump seriously. He can't hang with us. Because Trump will spend like he thinks he's a billionaire. But real billionaires, no, we ain't gonna play with our money like that. What the fuck's the gold toilet gonna do for me?
That's shit. Affluent people I don't know, Mary. I know affluent people, and I've never seen them be as reckless and ignorant with their shit as he is.
Yeah.
And that's why I find it so amazingly hard to see why people were touting him being a businessman as a good reason for him to run the country.
A businessman that bankrupt casinos. How the fuck do you bankrupt casinos?
Not just that, but the thing, and I want to even talk about Rex Tillerson in this manner as well.
Yeah.
I think that the thing that people heard businessman and they were like, oh, okay, he's gonna make us richer. He's gonna bring up the middle class.
Nope.
No. The thing about business is that most of the time when you're a CEO, you're running that shit yourself. Yeah. You're not worried about the little people. You're making sure that your shit is covered.
The bottom line. I keep saying it.
You really don't give a fuck about anything else except for your bottom line.
When I moved up to middle management and beyond in my job, people became numbers. People became percentages. They weren't human beings anymore. It was, how could we limit their wages? How could we limit overtime so that it didn't affect the bottom line? How could we make them do more production? Yeah, more production for less. And people don't understand. That's why I got burnt out of it, because I really seriously had meetings where they talk like this. How can we decrease what we pay out, yet increase production? They want slaves, but they know they can't have legal slavery.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't think America understands. We have to start being more fiscally open-minded. We have to be smarter when it comes to money. Because the people with money who have the power know that people aren't bothering to learn this stuff. They know that people are just like, oh, I make this much and I have this much crap. And it's like, no, that's not real wealth.
Yeah. Well, go ahead. Tell us about your financial plan.
My plan is like this. So many people do like lottery pools. They'll pool money for betting and stuff. And one of the things I learned when I finally started investing in stocks when I was younger, people laughed at me. I tell this story all the time to people about when I worked for the coin company I worked for, how I just started letting them take $2 out of my check and buying the company stock. And I had managers laughing at me, oh, you'll wipe your ass with that stock. It ain't going nowhere. And then we got bought out by Coinstar. Now, see, if I had been a bit smarter, I would have made them take $20 out of my paycheck. Because I wasn't missing anywhere. I was getting ringed with taxes back then. But I would have had them take more. Because I got $25,000 back in the early 2000s from that stock. The stock that they told me that I could wipe my ass with as toilet paper. Because a lot of people who think they're smart with investment are not. And you could go and investigate. You don't even have to be a genius. Investigate these smaller startups that need shareholders, that are desperate for shareholders. That's how Yahoo got started. That's how Google got started. Young men who are desperate for shareholders, who turn people who are willing to give a little bit of money towards it into millionaires. So instead of investing in lottery pools, which always get you nothing, start these investment clubs. You want to start a book club, but you should be starting investment clubs. Get one friend that you know watches the market, even if it's by habit. I still watch the market. It bores me sometimes, and it frightens me sometimes, especially with the destabilization that's coming up, but I still watch the market. Get together. Even if you only can invest a couple of dollars here or there each month, to put to the side and look towards stocks to invest in. Because the investment class is going to be the class that benefits from all these new tax reform things. And I'm using the word reform loosely, because it's basically a rob the poor to give to the rich strategy. And if we are going to get on top of this, because fighting it right now, putting our hopes in Mueller, getting stuff done automatically, I love people for that, but Trump is going to be here for a bit. And if you want to have some kind of financial stability when the recession happens, because it's going to happen, you need to start thinking in investment terms. And you can get with your friends. If you don't feel confident in doing it yourself, I understand that. It's scary, and they make it scary on purpose. They make investment seem scary and confusing. All it is taking your money, find it, hopefully, and you can even do it yourself with like E-Trade and stuff. Finding the stock, putting that money towards that stock, and hopefully it will grow. And just like the lotto, you might not win a lot, but you have a stable investment. You have shares. Shares are equity. Equity helps you make establishments. When people banks see that you have shares and stuff, they know you're being a serious player. They're willing to give you that loan for that house or that car because they see, oh, they have shares. They know what they're doing with their money. It opens up a door. A lot of people think wealthy people just have money that they throw around. they get underwritten, which is another word for loan. They get loaned our tax money to spend and do projects that they earn more money with. That's why I said people have to wake up to this. And I think that investment groups, especially personal investment groups, just like little book clubs, people that you know you can trust, working together could combat this. And I've been thinking about this all week because so many people get together and they'll put money towards the stupidest shit that yield almost nothing in return.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times on the job people were mad at me because I wouldn't join the lotto pool. Why would I take $10 to get a lotto ticket that's not going to get me shit? When I could take that $10 and buy a stock that might triple it or double that value.
Yeah.
That's why people have to start talking together and start really understanding. Even if you don't understand finance, there are easy tools out there to learn this shit. And like I said, no, we can't all afford Merrill Lynch or big stockbrokers. But there are other stock companies like Fidelity Investments. There are up-and-coming investing things for people of color, like Aspire. There are ways out there if you want to learn how to invest your money. And even, like I said, I'm working on a fixed income right now. I'm an independent writer. All my income comes from either donations or from jobs. So I know that money is tough right now. But I'm gonna start setting it, even to start $5 every time I get paid somehow, to start putting back into stocks and investment, because that's the only way I am going to set my child's future and my future. And I wish more people understand. I'm starting to get Greg woken up on that too, because he's like, I've been working this job 10 years and I just don't feel like there's a payoff. Every time I get a little bit ahead, it just feels like something's pulling me back. And I was like, that's because you might have some money in the bank, but you don't have any real assets or equity. You have to start looking at investments for real. And I
taught
just
me something, girl, because I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm sort of ignorant of stocks and all of that stuff.
And they make it intimidating. That's why a lot of people they shut it off in their brain because they hear investments. They think the big corporate guys who have all these people that crunch the numbers for them. And it's like taxes. It boggles my mind how many people still pay other people to do their taxes. I'm just like, and I know it's easier than to think, because you start thinking tax code. I've done my own taxes and my family's taxes for years, because a lot of it is just entering numbers that they already give you on paper, making sure. Yes, some people get crazy with itemization and other stuff, but basic taxes don't take you more than 30 minutes to do, tops, if that much. It's when people start to try to do crazy shit, and we all got that family member who be trying to claim shit that they know they ain't supposed to claim, and I always have to tell them, no, ain't doing it. But people make it harder than it is, and that's what a lot of wealthy people who don't want other people up there with them, they bank on that too. That people get afraid to learn that stuff, that it's harder than it seems. Numbers are not that hard, I'm not even really a math person, and numbers are not that hard for me.
I'm not a numbers person at all. I won't even lie to you. It's not my thing. So you're teaching me stuff, because these are things that I did not know.
I just think a lot of, especially average American citizens, just feel like that kind of life is out of touch for them unless they win a bunch of money. And that mentality always backfires on them too. How many times have somebody won the lottery and then ended up broke a year later because they think that being wealthy means spending it?
Yeah.
And it's like, are you kidding me? The best thing you can do when you come into a windfall of money is to invest it or sit on it. And investing it is, you can do any kind of investment. Land investment. You can buy homes that you can flip. There are so many ways to turn your money into more money, yet people seem to think that wealth means what you have, that you can show off. And until we get rid of that mindset, The wealthy are going to keep being wealthy, and the poor are going to keep being poor, and the working and middle class are going to be stuck in the middle, footing the bill for all this shit. You know? And this is the stuff that I keep saying to people, and that's the problem that I feel as black women. I'm not taken seriously by people, even on social media. They say they hear me, but yet there are so many people that still would rather talk to me about stupid shit in DMs than going, you made a point about economics. What do you know about this? You have asked me so many questions. It always makes me feel good because it's like, at least she hears me,
Yeah, I mean, shit, because tell me what I need the knowledge.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I know when I don't understand something, and I am willing to admit I don't get it.
Same here.
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with saying I don't understand. Teach me. Tell me what it is you know. Like, I know you and Dwyer, y'all both have really good financial backgrounds. So anytime I have a question or things like that, or something quick that I need to know, like, I come to y'all because, I know that you'll tell me something just like you just did that I had no idea. Like, I didn't know this shit. I'm going to go look it up later because I don't know this stuff, I am younger than y'all, and, I'm doing this by myself, and I just got out here on my own, so it's like, okay, I'm trying to get my ducks in a row, and I will admit, that's one of the things that we do say, and that has been pointed out in Black culture. A lot of times we don't teach our kids how to be financially responsible. A lot of times we don't teach them about saving and things like that. So they go in with the handicap. And I will admit, my parents, they did teach me about saving and things like that. But like you said about investments and things, like, those are the things that I didn't know.
Yeah.
I never knew, I never knew that. And they never, I don't think they knew to tell me that. Not to say that they were bad parents or that they missed the mark with me, but I'm pretty sure it's not something that necessarily occurred to them.
Even in my family, outside like my grandparents who knew about investments because that's how they made the majority of their money. I mean, my mom doesn't know much about stocks. My dad definitely, his money came from hustling. I was always upfront about that. My dad was the king of however he could get his ends. He reminded me of Trump at times because he was all about if you ain't busted, it ain't criminal. So I know that side too. But the sound investing thing came from my grandfather and my grandmother. Because a lot of people didn't understand that about my grandmother too. She didn't take her money and buy a bunch of fancy shit. She bought some cheap land down in South Carolina, and that was her equity. And that's why when she passed, she had all these credit cards and stuff still, and people still making offers to her because she was smart with her money. And I know that a lot of parents don't understand it, but there are tools that you can learn that you can pass on to your kids because it's not just about having money in the bank account anymore. Because banks will take that shit too. I'm currently filing against the Wells Fargo suit because of the stupid shit they did with accounts under my name and my son's name. So, trust me, you can't trust big banks as it is. Don't think having a bank account, having some money in that bank account means shit anymore. It's about what you have equity-wise, what you have in stocks, what you have in land, what you have in titles in your name, full on in your name. Yeah. We bought a new car in February. Well, basically a used car because I wasn't going to invest in a full car. All these offers have come flooded in because of that, because of the payments that we make on it, because they see we have something in our name that's worth value. That's why I try to teach people who was like, oh no, I'll take my income tax and go on Craigslist. I don't want a monthly payment. Those monthly payments help establish your credit.
Yeah.
What
and
is wrong with
them up, it helps.
Yes. This is shit that we are not, and it's not just the black community, it's rural America too. We don't teach people how to be fiscally responsible. We just assume. A lot of people who have money just assume that everybody understands that, and it's not like that. You have to tell people that making monthly payments is not a bad thing. It might feel like a bad thing because you want to spend your money on other stuff, but you're building that credit. You're building that equity that you can get money that you normally don't have access to because people see that you're trustworthy with it. That's why I try to instill in people, And I take that seriously as a mom because one day my kid's going to inherit, because of this stupid tax plan, a $1 trillion deficit. And I don't want him struggling, And speaking of which, I said I was going to bring him in. He hasn't been outside the door like last week, but I'm going to see if he's still interested. Kiddo! He's coming running. I can hear him. He's been waiting for this spot. I want people to understand that I'm a real person. You're a real person. We have families. We care. This is why we're passionate. Come here, Jade. No, I called you on purpose. I want you to come say hi. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi, Miss Panther.
Hi, Miss Panther.
How are
Good.
He was standing outside our cast last week, and I asked him, I was like, kiddo, do you want to sit in for a few minutes on this week's cast? And what you say? You say yes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't be nervous. Nobody can see you. It's just us two right now. We recorded live, but, we're not directly live.
So tell me about some science.
Oh, there's ocean science.
He loves the ocean. What did we study this week in our science lesson? You remember?
RNA.
Yeah, the recessive stuff and how it splits off. I learned a lot because when we grew up, science wasn't really pushed towards girls the way it is now.
Yeah.
So I'm learning a lot of stuff with him, about recessive genes and gene mutation and genetics and all this fascinating stuff. And that's why I say I hate that they try to say that black kids can't be into this stuff.
Yeah.
Because he lives and breathes science, right?
Right.
Yeah. I heard you like marine biology a lot. Am I right?
Yes.
You gonna be the next Jacques Cousteau? He's not. He's all nervous.
Not really.
No, you don't. You want to make your own name?
No.
You don't want to make your own name?
No.
You still want to be a marine biologist?
Yes.
Yeah. But you don't want to be famous for it. You just want to take care of the ocean?
Mm-hmm.
Aw. That's good though, sweet. You do what you love. It ain't about fame. It's about doing what you love, right? And
Yeah.
how do you feel about animals?
I think that they're cute.
Do you love them?
Yes.
He loves animals for real though. And like I said, it's just, this is why I fight.
Yeah.
This is why I'm so passionate about educating people, because I want his future to be great, right?
Yeah.
Right.
He deserves a good future.
Yes. You gonna sit in? You want to go back to your Pokemon?
How did you know?
I'm your mom. I know everything. Go on, you can go back to your Pokemon. I said it's just gonna be short slot where you got to say hi. Say bye.
Bye.
He is so sweet. And like I said, this is why I get mad at the whole chip thing. And can you close the door, sweetie, so don't pick up an echo? But the whole chip thing, because we benefit. I applied for state insurance for him because he has to have speech therapy. He had to have occupational therapy. Just 4 years ago, he was not talking in full, complete sentences. He was having emotional meltdowns because the school he was in, there was too many kids and there was too much noise, and he has autism, so stuff affects him emotionally different than other kids. So I have this amazing team of speech therapists, of physical therapists, of just basically psychological therapists who have helped me with him, and it would have broken me financially to pay that out of pocket. So when they was like, no, get on state Medicaid for him so that they'll pay us and we can keep taking care of this, I wasn't going to be proud about that. This is for my child. I will do
Yeah.
anything to make sure. And as you can hear, yeah, he still gets shy, but he's articulate. He
Yes.
speaks. And that was years of work. And this is why we need a Congress that cares about these kids. Because once you find that puzzle piece, and I love that the Autism Awareness used the puzzle piece as their symbol. Once you find that piece that unlocks that part of their brain that goes, yes, I can feel comfortable speaking about what I like. And with him, it's ocean stuff.
Oh, you sound like my mama.
Yes, it opens their world.
She says the same thing. Like she said that was the one thing that made her job the best. She said because once they get it, she said once their face lights up, when you know they got it. She said it's the best feeling in the world. She literally just said it, just like you just said that.
Yes. I mean, I had teachers who would modify their lessons to include OSHA stuff just to keep his interest. I had a teacher who would let him have a little mini tank on his desk so that when he was getting fidgety, she would like focus on the fish. And he would, and it helped open him up. He's willing to ask questions. He reads independently now. I don't have to tell him, kiddo, get a book. He's in there reading a book, you know.
That's great.
And as I don't think people understand that having a platform where people understand that these kids do need the funds and resources to keep them growing because they do process stuff differently is important to me. And now watching this Congress slip this bill in that's going to take from them, it's like a stab in the back.
Yeah.
It really
Talk
is.
a little bit about having a child with autism. I know we talked about this privately, but I'd just like for people to hear your perspective because I think it's good. I think it's a good thing. You hear celebrities talk about it all the time, but I want to hear it, especially from your point of view.
I want to be frank and honest about stuff. It's not easy. And when I first found out, because they diagnosed him when he was 2 with it, because of the way he avoided eye contact, because he wasn't saying words like toddlers. And it was like devastating because back then I didn't know about autism. All I heard was the negative. Back then it was a lot of the Jenny McCarthy and vaccinations, and I full on believe in vaccinations. So I was like, did I do this to my baby? It was a really hurtful, confusing time. So I was like, I need to find out. I need to do studies. I need to learn because my child is going to be treated differently. And I had to put up with family members who go, oh yeah, we could tell he's got the autism look. And it's like, what are you talking about? You deal with insensitive, you deal with people who don't know, so that's like the full-on bad side is the people who don't know and you not know. And once you start educating yourself on autism, once you start realizing that a lot of these kids are brilliant, they just have a piece of themselves that you have to reach to open up their brilliance. It's amazing. Once we realized that, because we had an Ocean Mobile around his crib, and we did a lot of like Winnie the Pooh and animal things, once we realized that animals was the key to get him to open up, it was just like he exploded with personality. And yes, sometimes he still has meltdowns. He's very firm on what he will not do. He does not like joking. And he's made that clear to me. He made it clear to Greg. He's made it clear to teacher. I do not like jokes. He doesn't like jokes because they're not logical to him. When people make fun or tell a joke, it's like he takes it literally. So it's hard for him. Sometimes he'll laugh if it's something really absurd that he knows is absurd. But for the most part, jokes just, he can't get them. And he's frank about it. He's like, look, I don't like this because I don't understand it. Just say what you mean.